Welcome back, college football fans, to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, the only channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. It's great to be back with you once again for another episode here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Let me go ahead and shut that off. All right. What a great week 8 we just witnessed. We are now officially past the halfway point, and we are finally starting to get a little bit of clarity, and the smoke is starting to clear as far as who are the pretenders and the contenders, and what teams that we can maybe expect to be unveiled on Selection Sunday for this year's college football playoff. All right, and what I've got on tap for you today, this is my updated power rankings post week 8 heading into week 9, and I think you are going to find, compared to last week's list, I do have a lot of movement upward, downward, and some teams that maybe or may have not might be making their initial appearance on my power rankings 1 through 12, and then the first 2 teams out. As I mentioned, I'm your usual host, Blair Parks, and if this is your first time with me here in the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, thank you very much for tuning in and for your time, your support. And if you are returning, thank you for all that you have done for the channel and everything that you will continue to do. I always ask for, want, and appreciate and welcome your feedback, your hot takes, your comments, your opinions. So please exercise your right. I want to hear from you, all of my fellow college football brothers and sisters. Comment below in the comment section, and I promise I will get back to each and every one of you much sooner than later via those comments, because I want to find more college football fans just like you. And it is an absolute honor and blessing for me to be here with you again this season, sharing my love and passion for all things college football. So please, whatever you can do to help the channel out, please comment, like, share, rate, and subscribe. All right, so let's go ahead and get into my updated Week 9 power rankings, 1 through 12, and then the first 2 teams out. And my criteria, it really comes down to a lot of the eye test. Who have they played? Who have these teams defeated? Who have they maybe lost to? Common opponents? When and where did they play the competition? And also their overall record. So I take a lot into account when I rate these top 12 teams. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it right now. And please let me know what you think about this list. Go ahead and light up that comment section below. All right, we have a new number 1, one of my big movers this week. I'm sorry, I got to give credit where credit is due. Coming off their victory at home over the weekend against Tennessee, I've got Alabama up 3 spots from last week, numero uno. Why? Because Alabama has now defeated 4 straight ranked opponents, 2 of those on the road, at Georgia, at home against Vandy, at Missouri, and then at home against Tennessee, as I mentioned. So I've got Alabama. I think right now they are the hottest team in college football, hotter than Texas chili. All right, number 2 might surprise you. I've got them up 1 spot from last week, but I am totally sold on the ministry and the church of Cignetti. I got the Indiana Hoosiers, number 2, up 1 spot, as I mentioned, from last week, with a very dominant win over the weekend at Michigan State against Sparty up in East Lansing. I'm an absolute believer. This team, when you watch Indiana, and I know this is not basketball season, this is Indiana football we're talking about, the losingest team in all of college football history, by the way, that here they are, they look the best on the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. The physicality, the experience, and the depth that they have along the O-line and D-line is unmatched. And Fernando Mendoza, I mean, IU fans right now, they're loving the old ABBA hit. Fernando, it's blaring nonstop, loud as can be. I like Indiana right now, number 2. Number 3, down 2 spots. They were number 1 last week. They did win over the weekend, but I got to call it right now. I love Ohio State. I've got them right now, number 3 on my power rankings list. They have that great win, that solid victory week 1 against Texas. They have only improved every week, have the Buckeyes, but I'm just looking at their competition. I mean, Penn State is up next for them. They have a bye week here coming up in week 9, but we know what's happened to that Penn State program this year. They've definitely fallen off on hard times. And it comes down to who is going to potentially challenge them. And I think the Buckeyes, it's going to be maybe the last week of the season when they travel to Michigan to take on that team up north. But other than that, I think they may not get a legit challenge until the Big Ten title game, where I believe they're projected. I think they'll match up with Indiana, and I think both teams will potentially be undefeated for the Big Ten title. So no slight to Ohio State. They're a top 5 team. They're a playoff team, but I got them number 3. All right. Number 4, my second big mover this week, up 3 spots from last week, thanks to their big-time victory at home over the weekend against Ole Miss. I mean, they flexed like no one's business in the fourth quarter. Did the Georgia Bulldogs, I got them sitting number 4, flexing like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno of old. I mean, Georgia right now, I don't want to say they're flying under the radar, but they're kind of like the song Forgot About Dre. I mean, Georgia still is very good, and their quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, has absolutely surprised me. He's playing much better than I thought he would, so I got the Bulldogs sitting in the 4th spot. Number 5, one of my big droppers this week, coming off their upset at home, a loss. I got the Miami Hurricanes. They lost Friday night at home against a very solid Louisville Cardinals team by Coach Braum, who, hey, us Hawkeye fans, we are so happy that he has moved on from Purdue out of the Big Ten. I mean, the guy is a absolute offensive-minded guru. And you know what? I still like Miami. Last week I had them number 2 on my list. But we're going to have to wait and see. Is this going to be like the Miami teams that we've seen in recent history, to where they're hyped, we claim that the U is back, and then they fall flat down the stretch? We'll have to wait and see. But also Carson Beck. I mean, is this the quarterback that we've fallen in love with this year? Or is this the Carson Beck who quarterbacked Georgia last season, who was basically at times was notorious for just forcing passes into coverage and getting picked off left and right like a toddler picking their nose? And we saw that Friday night, and that's Louisville's biggest question mark coming into this season, was a completely brand new, inexperienced, new tooled defensive backfield, and they picked Carson Beck off 4 times. So I got Miami sitting in the 5 spot. Number 6, up 2 spots from last week, I've got the Oregon Ducks with their big-time road win at Rutgers, putting up a 56-burger. I get it. It's Rutgers, but still, traveling cross-country, West Coast to East Coast, we've seen the problems that teams have had in these nationwide conferences where you have to cross multiple time zones. Normally, the team that travels, they normally come out on the losing end, but Oregon goes on the road. I believe it was 56-10. So I got the Ducks still staying right there. They're in the conversation in the 6th spot, looking really good. And they face off with my Iowa Hawkeyes in 2 weeks. Cannot wait for that. Actually, there's a bye week, so 3 weeks from now. Cannot wait for that huge potential game inside Kinnick Stadium. All right, number 7. Even though they got the victory, I've got them down 2 spots from last week. In number 7, I've got the Aggies of Texas A&M. Now, they did defeat Arkansas, and it was on the road, but 45-42. They needed every point they could have. Excuse me. That I have question marks about this A&M team. Offensively, I mean, they are explosive. They have weapons aplenty, but I just don't know if they can consistently put a complete game together offensively, defensively, and special teams. I just have some big time hesitations with A&M, but I do think they're going to hang tight. They're going to be steady, and they've got a huge opportunity to really separate themselves and shut me up and any fellow doubters about them, because this Saturday night, they're on the road in Death Valley South against LSU for a true night game down there in Baton Rouge. So a huge opportunity for A&M to get that big-time victory over a fellow ranked opponent to maybe move up on my list and silence some of us who still have our doubts. All right, number 8, the team that continues to, like Al Davis said, just win, baby. That's all they do. They are not sexy. They're not stylish, all right, but all they do is win football games. I got them up 2 spots from last week due to their victory on the road at a very solid Duke Blue Devil team. At number 8, I got the Ramblin' Wreck, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, sit there undefeated to where now they are on top of the ACC. So I cannot wait what unfolds with this team. I love quarterback Haynes King and his style of play. I mean, the guy, if you want to think of the term a game manager as a negative, fine. But what does that show? That shows that's an individual who just makes good decisions and wins games, and that's what he does. So all they can continue to do is win, and if they keep doing that, they will continue to climb my power rankings list each and every week. All right. Number 9, one of my big droppers this week, even though they lost on the road against Arizona State in the desert against the Sun Devils and Sparky, one of my favorite mascots in all the nation, they got forked by Sparky. I got the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I still believe that this team is the cream of the crop in the Big 12. And what a logjam we have right now in the Big 12 conference. I mean, right now it's really up in the air to who those 2 teams are going to be who separate themselves and meet for the Big 12 title at the end of the regular season. But not a bad loss at all on the road for the Red Raiders against the Sun Devils. I still think they are built to win. I think they are still one of the most complete teams. They play championship caliber defense. So I got the Red Raiders holding on in the top 10. Number 9, down slightly from last week. Number 10, another team that all they do is win. They find ways to get it done. They're not pretty, once again, not sexy or styling and profiling like Ric Flair. Woo, the Nature Boy. But BYU, I got them up 2 spots from last week at number 10. Huge win over the weekend at home in Provo against their arch rival in this year's edition of the Holy War. They defeated fellow ranked Utah to win the state rights and the cup and the title of the Holy War winner. What a great name for a rivalry game, by the way, the Holy War. I absolutely love it. I mean, who can not get behind rivalry games, especially one called the Holy War? But anyway, I love this BYU team. I don't know if I'm quite sold on them yet, but until they lose, until they trip up, I've got to have them on this list. So potentially maybe they can continue to stay in their lane, ride it out, and challenge Texas Tech for the Big 12 title. But they've got a huge road test this weekend on the road in Ames, Iowa against the Cyclones of Iowa State. Cannot wait to watch that game Saturday afternoon. So number 11, down 2 spots from last week's list, I've got the Ole Miss Rebels, and I get it. This is a team that is a top 10 ranked team. A lot of people are uber high on the Rebels and Lane Kiffin, what he's got going on down there in Oxford, hopping on board the Lane train. Will he leave Ole Miss for Florida? Yada, 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 all the rumors. But their defense is so suspect. I mean, they played a great game over the weekend in their loss at Georgia, but it comes down to it. That's going to be their Achilles heels and then some. This team, Ole Miss, they can outscore pretty much almost everybody in the nation. They can put up points aplenty, but it just comes down to, can their defense make enough stops? And I've been telling you this for weeks, guys. That is why I am not sold on this team. Eventually, their defense is going to have to be stout and get some stops consistently against teams that are at or above their talent level, all right? You can't always outscore everybody, all right? But this Ole Miss team is going to win a lot of games, but they're also going to lose a game or two here or there because their defense just can't get opposing offenses off the field, all right? So I got them down 2 spots, number 11, and my final team, bringing up the rear at number 12, down 1 spot from last week, even though they did win on the road in Columbia, South Carolina. I've got the Oklahoma Sooners. I believe it was 26-7. So a solid victory against a South Carolina team that really has let us down this year with Lenora Sellers, their quarterback. I think maybe Coach Shane Beamer might end up finding himself on the hot seat, but I do not expect him to be dismissed. So I got Oklahoma sitting there, number 12, still kind of hanging out, but they have so many opportunities down the stretch here. They face off, I believe, with 3, maybe 4 more ranked teams. So a great opportunity for them to solidify their spot on my list and find themselves in the college football playoff. All right, so my first 2 teams out, that I'm going to say these together, so basically 13 and 14. And why? Because they meet up this week on Saturday afternoon down in Music City. Vanderbilt, my first team out, and Missouri, my second team out. So, I mean, what a matchup. I can't wait to watch the Doors and the Tigers get at it on Saturday afternoon. And to the winner of this matchup, you're going to find one of them staying on this list, maybe moving up, and the other probably moving off this list completely. And seriously, how can you not get behind Diego Pavia and the miracle, the new Music City miracle that's going on down there in Nashville with the Vanderbilt Commodores? No longer just a medical school or a baseball school, mind you, now a football school, thanks to Coach Clark Lee and what he's got going on down there in Nash Vegas. All right, that is my updated post-8 Week 9 power rankings. Let me know what you think about numbers 1 through 12 and my first 2 teams out. Please comment below. Let me know what you agree with or disagree with. Do you think my list is legit? Do you think this team I've got rated too high? Maybe this team too low? Hey, maybe I should have this team on my list, remove this team. I can't wait to hear from all of you college football fanatics. Please hit me up with the comments. Like, rate, share, subscribe, and please do. I really appreciate anything that you could do to help this channel grow. Now, I will be back tomorrow for my Week 9 preview and picks episode. So until then, enjoy the rest of your day, whether it's at work or school. Peace, prosperity, and I'll talk to you soon on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. And as always, go Hawks. See ya.